I was in a shelter for like 5 months. As I was doing all that, even from the transition of me sleeping in my car, I was still showing up. I was still filming, getting gigs for money. I was still showing up to different events, making sure I'm working on my mental, still putting into my craft. So my name is Kaila Sherman. I am a co-founder of Film 33 Productions, and I am a motivational speaker, personal fitness trainer. So around 2022, I started taking everything serious with my media production. I actually ended up going to college in New York. I went to New York Film Academy, and I went to school for production, but I'm a director. But I wanted to know the actual logistics and how everything worked behind the scenes, as far as marketing, as far as how to build a production studio. What all do you need? Who all do you need? So that's where that started. And then my fitness journey has been since I was 14. I have dealt with just not liking my image. I wanted to always be better, and I always knew that I was big on my mindset, and being fit is always what has been an attraction to me. And I got into personal training because I know that helping people get to their goals, gain their confidence, and that's what I do. There's so many things that I do, like from motivational speaking to fitness. I'm a creator. I create all things, design, clothes, and I even do things with taxes. But I'm like, okay, how can I separate my hobbies from the things that I actually want to do and actually get paid for? Something that I really enjoyed was working out, but I'm like, I'm so good at it that was the thing that just stuck to me the most. So I'm like, what is a way that I could actually bring that to the light? So behind the scenes, I'm working on, different things as far as personal training for different people, doing different classes, ebooks for my nutrition, things of that nature to help people build their confidence. And then for the media production, it all started in my head. So at 14, I did my first documentary. I lived in Detroit, Michigan, and I went around like my neighborhood and I pulled out a little Android. I was on my 10 speed and I was documenting my life. Basically, my mindset was I wanted to create a documentary before I made it. So I always knew I was going to be successful at 14, even before I knew I was going to do media production or anything. When I was 17, I went to the military. That's when I actually started having these visions. And I was like, how can I get these visions out of my head? So I invested into a Apple laptop, my first camera, and I just started taking videos of everything that I wanted to get out of my head. Not so much as wanting to have a production company, but I wanted to be the best to make these cinematic movies, these cinematic visions come to life, and that's how I picked up the camera. And I'm like, well, I want to help other people get their visions out their head, and I want to help other people, make their visions come to life, and they pay me for that. So that's how that came about. So every idea that comes to your head, or every creative thing that we do as creatives, we don't love everything that we do, or we don't like everything that we do. Why do I say this? It's because usually when you're in a creative space, you usually don't have all the money that you need. So a lot of the ideas that come to your head is based on fear, because all those ideas are trying to make you money to do the main thing that you're trying to do. It's like, for example, you're like, okay, I got all these ideas, but how am I going to make the money? So the idea that comes in your head, you feel like that's a great idea, but it's a setback because the money might not come in as quick as you might want it to. You feel what I'm saying? So if you have something like a drop shipping idea, but then you're too scared to put your brand out there, you like, oh man, now you stuck again. So you make it stuck. It might be this cycle of continuously getting stuck, even though it might be all those creative things and all your abilities. If you don't have the mental capacity to continue to dwell on these things, actually put action forth and be patient with yourself and give yourself grace, it won't work out. So the misconception is, okay, we might be creatives and everything, but everything good and all the ideas that we have is not always worked on, and it sets us back in our own self. Challenges that I had to overcome. So the main thing that I recently just got over it was homelessness. Being homeless, when I was in New York, I went to school, but God actually called me out here to Dallas, Texas, so I ended up driving out here. And when I drove out here, I was still homeless, right? So I slept in my car for like 37 days. I was in a shelter for like 5 months. As I was doing all that, even from the transition of me sleeping in my car, I was still showing up. I was still filming, getting gigs for money. I was still showing up to different events, making sure I'm working on my mental, still putting into my craft, and not knowing why I was still struggling, getting denied for housing, and going through those trials and errors. I was like, God, you're gonna take me to Dallas. We're gonna be, we ain't gonna have a crib for like 3 weeks. He was like, well, I'm gonna turn it into 6 months so you can learn from this, because I want to see how much you really want it. And me, I know that I want it bad, and it's not an option for me. And that's why I continue to keep going. And I wouldn't even say it was the craziest thing that I ever had to go through, because it was the most peaceful thing that I went through thus far. But it was the most confusing, because I'm like, God, you brought me out here and you put me through all this, but it all made sense at the end. So that was probably like the hardest, challenging thing. I would tell myself that you are so proud of who you became, because this is the representation of you not quitting. Like, you are looking at what you did. You didn't quit. You are able to go back to your younger self because you were able to continue to strive and grow and be mentally strong and face any battle that came your way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a monster for real. Like, what I do is serious, and I'm so confident in myself, and I built this confidence that nobody could ever diminish, nobody could ever tear down. And I'm gonna continue to tell you, like, when you get to this moment, I'm not gonna tell you what to expect. I'm not gonna tell you what you're going to go through, because I know how you thought. And if you would have never went through all of that, you wouldn't be in this very spot right now mentally, not even physically, because mentally I'm so abundant. You feel what I'm saying? I'm a mental giant. But if you continue to not give up on yourself, if you continue to see the dream, continue to make it plain and write it down, you are going to get everything that you deserve. And who you are looking at is the person that didn't quit, and that's yourself. So that's what I tell my younger self. I'm going to be honest with y'all, right? So I'm not going to say keep going and keep pushing. No, it starts with your mentality. If your mentality doesn't change, you won't change either. All the things that you may want, that's fine, but everybody want what you want. You're the same person that want to get money, want to do drop shipping, want a clothing brand, want to do hair, nails, lashes, all that. The same thing that creatives, we all getting the same thing, taxes, breakdown. It's everything that we want to do is possible, only if your mindset change. How do you see yourself? If you don't see yourself being the better version of yourself, if you don't see yourself being the best in the game, then don't get in it, because it's a dog fight. You're gonna either you want it or you don't. And it start with your mentality. It start with your mind. It go into the body, your lifestyle, and then prosperity. What you gonna give back? You gonna give your time. You gonna give back to people and the things that is going to continue to help you flourish. You feel what I'm saying? It's always what you're willing to give up, what you are willing to sacrifice. And I'm willing to sacrifice my time, and you need to as well, because that's what you need to do to put into your craft, and then continue to keep going and stay positive and don't give up. So you can find me on my main page at KOfficial 2_2.0, and then on TikTok at Too Busy Cutting. That's my personal training account. And then thank y'all so much for watching my episode of When Creators Connect. Thank y'all for having me.
I am so grateful for you being here. This is also my director of the show, so grateful to have her to share her story. And thank you so much for everyone who's been watching this season. This is the last episode of season 2, and be on the lookout for season 3 of When Creators Connect. There's a lot of cool, great experiences and videos and events that will be coming out of When Creators Connect. So thank you so much. And as always, remember to do what you love and pay it forward.
Hey.